This is my third lecture on the poem Elegy written in Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray. We had completed some of the stanzas of the poem and we had talked about the meaning of the word elegy. Elegy is a type of a poem which talks about loss of a person, loss of faith, loss of religion, loss of values. Usually it sings in praise of people or great people who have left their mark in life. Now, this elegy is unique elegy. It sings in praise of people who are very common, who had lived very common life, and who are lying in a graveyard which is adjacent to a church in a country churchyard. The poet is standing in a country churchyard and he is contemplating about the lives of these people who have lived a very simple and routine life. And somewhere the poet gives you a message that every life is important, howsoever simple or common it may be. The peasants who had lived their entire life in the countryside and who had been farming or doing very simple activities throughout their life to make their both ends meet have lived a very valuable life. We cannot call them or we cannot call them that they have lived a useless life or we cannot mock at them. So somewhere the poet is telling you that all the race for power, the race for fame, the race for prosperity, and the arrogance over beauty, it is useless, it is meaningless, because all these things lead to grave. Nothing is permanent, and anything which is inevitable or which is common for everyone is death. Now we proceed. Nor you, ye proud, impute to these the fault. Now what happens is the people who are ambitious, people who are beautiful, people who have lived a glorious life, they blame these people that they have not done anything in their life. So he says, the poet says, nor you, ye proud, impute to these the fault. Please don't lay upon these people the fault. If memory over their tomb, no trophies raise. Now in their memory, no trophies are raised on their tomb. If it is so, you should not be blaming their lives, or you should not be blaming these people that they have not done anything in their life. Where through the long drawn aisle and fretted vault, the pealing anthem swells the note of praise. Now people who are very big or who are very powerful, who are statesmen or who are kings, what happens when they die? When they are great warriors or great generals in army, their anthems which are sung in their praise, and there are great tributes at their death. Many trophies are being raised in their memory, and many lines in their memory are written on their graves, on their tombs. But for these people, nothing is written, but you should not be blaming them if nothing is written on their graves, because somewhere their lives did not allow them to be very ambitious or to be very prosperous or to be living a very glorious life. So we should not be blaming them. We should not be putting any blame on their lives. Now when we move, he says, can a storied urn or animated bust is life-size statue, or storied urn in which the ashes of the dead are being stored. So can these things bring back to its mansion all the fleeting breathe? Back to its mansion, back to its body, call the fleeting breathe. Can it bring back the life of the person who is dead? If you store the ashes of that person in an urn, or if you build a big life-size bust statue in his memory. All these things, can they bring back the person to life? Can honor's voice provoke the silent dust? Now the person has been mixed with the dust, he is dead, and his ashes have been mixed with the dust, or his body has been mixed with the dust, or flattery soothe the dull cold ear of death. Can these voices of honor bring back the dust to life? The silent dust to life, active life? Or flattery soothe the dull, cold ear of death? Death has dull and cold ear, and these voices in praise, or these flatteries, these voices which are there, which are singing in praise of the person who has been dead. Can all these things soothe the cold ear of death? The ear of death is cold, and it is not moved by flattery. It cannot bring back to life these people. Perhaps in this neglected spot is led. In this neglected spot, as I've said, he is there in a country churchyard, and the graveyard is adjacent to that churchyard. And this spot, since it is a graveyard, it is neglected. People do not visit it often. So the poet says, perhaps in this neglected spot is led some heart once pregnant with celestial fire. Now, the people who are lying here are no less important. They had also been breathing, and their lives, or their breath, was full of celestial fire. The fire which was unearthly. Hence, that the rod of empire might have swayed. Now, these people who were farming with their sickles, they must have wrought the mighty empires with their own hands, or wake to ecstasy the living lyre, or they had been great musicians, and they had been playing the lyre, and they had been the source of happiness or joy or ecstasy for many people. But it had not been so. They were not great musicians, they were not great kings, or they were not very big people who had some extraordinary talent in them. But it should not be taken as such that they were not talented at all. Maybe they were very talented, but their talents were not refined. They did not get opportunity at proper time, and there was no one to guide them, no one to teach them, or no one who was there to refine their talents, their arts. So we should not be underestimating these people. He says, but knowledge to their eyes, her ample page. Knowledge is a book. Knowledge has been compared to a book of knowledge which has lot many pages. Rich with the spoils of time did never unroll. Now these pages never unrolled. They were not read by these people, because this book of knowledge was not given to them, was not provided to them. Penury, poverty is chill, is very cold. Repress their noble rage. Even if they had some noble rage or ambition, or some wish, it was repressed by penury, by poverty, because they did not have any equipments or means to move in life, and froze the genial current of the soul. If they had any current, or if they had any talent or any ability or art in them, it was frozen by penury, by poverty, because poverty did not let them grow in life. Their soul was soul which may have had some current or genial art in them, which was given to them by God, which they had inherited, and which was there in them, but it did not get any exposure, and they were not allowed to flourish, or they were not allowed to master their art, because they did not have much means. So in this way, their life was very much restricted. They lived, there were lot many hindrances, and which did not let them grow, because they had to keep both their ends meet, and they had to earn for their family and did not have any equipment to earn, so they did common activities, the simple activities of farming or other daily chores, so that their families and they could survive in their life. So we would complete the rest of the poem in my next lecture. Thank you.